The Barrows Brothers. A boss encounter too easy for the king to conquer. What if I made things a little more interesting? For this challenge, we're going to restrict ourselves from accessing any banks and from gathering any supplies outside of Barrows, relying on only our 28 inventory slots to stay alive for 100 KC. If we die, the challenge is over. Additionally, we must pick up every drop we get, meaning as we get more uniques, it will leave us with less and less inventory slots to work with. Because of this, it's incredibly important that we keep our gear to a minimum. No swapping in and out of mage gear to deal with Arams and Kirill. This means we gotta get good enough gear to punch through the defenses of the two troublesome brothers. So I got to work devising the best gear setups for this challenge. I spent hours researching and comparing different build setups in the DPS calculator, trying to decipher which one would land me the most reliable, cost-effective, and quick kills. I ended up between two hard choices: the Mystic Smoke Battle Staff with Air Surge, or the Twin Flame Staff using Wind Wave. If I were level 81 to 95, the Twin Flame Staff would be an obvious choice, as it deals 6.65 DPS to the melee brothers, and a staggering 7.65 DPS to Kirill. Since he was updated to have a -2 flat armor, and the Twin Flame Staff fires 2 projectiles at once, where the Smoke Battle Staff only deals 5.95 DPS to the melee brothers and 6.48 DPS to Kirill. But since I am level 99 magic, I'm able to hit as hard as possible with any magic attacks I want, meaning the base hit of my surge spells goes up from 21 to 24, causing my DPS with the Smoke Battle Staff to go all the way up to 6.95 on the melee brothers and 7.49 on Kirill, making it a clear winner overall, only being beaten out by a small margin at Kirill by the Twin Flame Staff. But that wasn't all the information I had. The Twin Flame Staff had something I just couldn't ignore. The sound it made. I just couldn't help but be lured in by its siren song. When I went to go test the weapons out, I didn't even bother trying the Smoke Battle Staff because, well, I just fell in love.
That's what you get for being the lesser wizard. You're talking to, yes, Neil, sit down. Talking to the Grand Wizard. Get out of here. What do you want to bet that to get that sound effect, they had a microphone hooked up to a big fat guy's stomach, just went bam and slapped it real hard with like a wet hand. That's what I imagine they had to do to get that sound effect. Whoopish, whoopish. It's so crisp. That is the crispest slap. Whew. Sounds so good.
With my gear sorted, I needed to solve 2 more problems. First, I would need to find a way of healing myself after every run. But relying on hard food or consumables wouldn't be enough, as I would run out of heals far before I ever got to 100 KC. Enter the Ring of Dueling. This item would be my crutch, my lifeline for this challenge, allowing me to teleport into Ferox Enclave and heal from the restoration pools there. Additionally, this pool would restore my prayer points, run energy, and stats after each run, which would be a godsend for completing this challenge. Because of this, each ring can be treated as 8 full heals for 1 space in my inventory. The second problem I ran into was no matter how hard I tried, I would always get smited in the crypt because of the passive prayer drain effect that takes place there every 18 seconds. Normally this would be fine since my armor is tanky enough to stop most of the damage coming from the majority of the brothers. But that was far from the case when it came to Kirill. You see, as amazing as Bloodbark armor is, it has this many range defense, and Kirill can hit 20s with a 4-tick crossbow. Meaning if I got him as the Crypt Brother, I would have to fight him without overhead prayers and already depleted health from the other 5 brothers. So for the rest of my inventory, I loaded up on prayer pots, enough so that when I got unlucky with either Ferox or Kirill in the crypt, I could sip a pot during every fight. So, with the 13 rings of dueling and 9 prayer pots, I started my journey.
That's not bad. That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Let's get this guy. Oh no, we don't need any more. We're good. I'm out of here. What am I doing? There we go. Now I've got my coffee. 58K. Dang. Ah, shoot. stink. All right, we have to keep the loot. We have to take the loot. I don't want to drop these. Oh my gosh, the bolt wrecks. Do I drop a whole prayer pot for the bolt wrecks? Yeah, I have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Dropping a ring.
And this decision to drop that one dueling ring almost cost me having to run low health through the wilderness, risking all of my challenge loot. And if that weren't bad enough, just one run later.
All right, God willing, we don't get a unique, because I don't want to drop another prayer pot right now. Okay. What did I just say? What did I just say? Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't want to drop you. I don't want to drop you. I don't have enough inventory space for mind runes. There's no other way. We gotta drop 2 of our prayer pots. This is so stupid.
So, off to a pretty bad start on the challenge here. Several coffees later, we're 17 KC in, and I had to get comfy for the grind ahead. After settling in, the runs went quite well. We managed to pick up some more uniques and some decent rune drops out of the Barrows chests as we racked up those crypt clears. But it wasn't long until I realized the errors in my ways. I was using up my prayer pots way too quickly to finish the challenge. At this rate, it was only a matter of time before I had to face either Derok or Kirill in the crypts with no prayer, which could easily end my run. And as the runs drug on, I found myself accidentally sipping extra pots out of instincts, which only amplified the problem. So I started looking for a solution. I even considered running from Barrows all the way up to Ferox through the wilderness before teleporting back halfway through every run so I could go into the crypt with full prayer. And then again after every run to restore my health and top up the remaining prayer for the next KC. I then realized, wait a minute, I've been using my house to teleport to Barrows this whole time. I have a glory mounted in my house. I could just use that to get to Edgeville and then run to Ferox from there. But I would still be risking 100 KC loot in my inventory every time I wanted to refresh my stats. And then, the most obvious piece of information hit me. I have a prayer altar in my house. I could just use that to restore my prayer before and after the crypt fights. Now that the brain cells in my head finally congregated into a rational thought, my use of prayer pots went down drastically. And the loot kept on piling in.
Oh, that's worth nothing. Gosh dang it.
Sadly, it seemed like I was cursed to only ever roll the least expensive items in each set. But you know what? It's about the experience, not the game. A couple more cups of coffee later, we are down to the last couple rings in our inventory and only a handful of KC left in the challenge. The issue was, I had dropped a ring and wasted a few charges, which meant I was down several full heals, and it was getting tight, and the rings kept crumbling to dust in my inventory. I had to ration the ring charges by completing multiple runs on one full heal. If I run out of charges, I would be forced to make the Hell March all the way up through the swamp, past the mire, up the railings, all the way to Varrock, up to Edgeville, and cross the wilderness with 90 plus KC worth of Barrows loot just hanging out there for anyone to take while I'm low health and vulnerable. With only a few more KC to clear and only a few more charges left on my final ring of dueling, we got extremely lucky with the Varrock hits and took no damage from anything in the crypt for multiple runs. This is exactly what I needed. And with that, our final charge brought us to our final Barrows KC. Fatefully, we got a Kirill's crypt, and I got to spank his cheeks one last time before the challenge was over.
Oh, hello, hold up. Okay, whew. Just missed like 6 times in a row. I just die on the last kill count. Oh my goodness.
We teleported back to the GE to count up our winnings, and to no one's surprise, we only got about 5 mil, most of which came from the rune drops. Was it worth it? No. Was it fun? No. Did I win? Yes. 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 And you know what? Winning's all that really counts anyways. This was a grueling task to get through, and it took many hours to complete. But I have a feeling we're not done with the Barrows brothers quite yet. Like and subscribe to catch the madness to follow. And until next time,